Today I'll be demonstrating this 24 by 36 inch oil painting done on linen canvas. As usual, I have toned my canvas with a combination of burnt umber and burnt sienna, primarily burnt sienna, just to get rid of that white. And then I've just used my brush here to block in the composition. This is a fairly simple composition since there are no structures, buildings, and that sort of thing involved. So it blocks in quite fast, using only my dark colors to begin with. Only now do I start using some lighter colors for the sky. I keep those dark colors dark by not adding any white to them at all. Doing that would make those dark areas look chalky. Now, the first part of these paintings always goes quite quickly, and as I progress, things slow down. But here I don't put in any detail at all. This is all about painting in the large, big shapes and establishing that composition with the lights and the darks. It's like building anything. You need this foundation first. If you're building a house, you put the foundation in, then you put the walls, and then you put the windows, and so on. You can't start with the windows and then put the walls in. So this is really the foundation of any painting. And that's why I don't put in any of those details too quickly, because I might want to move some of those trees around or the light, something like that. So I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time adding detail to those trees when maybe later on in the painting I've decided that maybe a tree is too small or in the wrong position. So I always start with those big areas first. Now, I wanted this painting to have this early morning light on it, so the whole painting, the composition, is done in primarily warm colors. The water in the foreground is a deep, deep blue, but primarily that atmosphere is a very pale, light color. Now that I think I have the composition where I want it with no major changes, at this point I can add the details. This is where the painting slows down quite a bit, but it's really the fun part of a painting where it can be brought to life. In the background there, I'm adding a lot more cypress trees, and I'm keeping them very soft-edged, and with not much contrast, just to keep that distant look. Adding some sky holes here. It's always really fun to add the sky holes. I jump around a lot on a painting like this, or any painting. I don't finish any one area. I'll work on one area, then I'll jump to another area. And the reason is I want to finish this painting as a whole all at the same time. So basically, I can consider this painting finished at any point. So here I could say this painting is finished to that point. Nothing is really untouched. So I keep refining it and adding detail throughout the painting. And then it comes to the point where I say to myself, I don't know what else to do to this painting. And at that point, I try and stop, because I know if I continue beyond that point where I can say, I just don't know what else to do here, if I continue on, the painting will often get worse rather than better. So that's my rule to myself as to when I need to stop and call the painting finished. Now, that doesn't mean I'm totally satisfied with the painting that I do. It just means I think I've reached my abilities and my skill level to where I don't know how to go any further. And of course, I try and push myself to some degree on every painting to go a little bit further, but there is that point where you just don't know what else to do. And that's a really good time to say, okay, painting's done. And I'm not quite done yet, but almost. I wanted to add some light rays from the sun, so that's what I'm doing here. Just adding that glow of light with a thin wash of color. And on the side of these cypress trees, I'm picking up that warm glow as well, adding some spots here and there of that yellow-orange color. A few more touches of sky holes and adding some more Spanish moss. Now, as a finishing touch, I decided to put in this bird. It's an American egret. I laid this out with a pastel pencil just quickly, and now I'm putting it in with some white. Although that's not pure white, it's a very grayed down because I wanted to leave some pure white for some accents on that bird. So I have quite a library of reference photographs of birds which I frequently use. And I have a monitor over here to my right, which is off screen. You can't see that. But so I'm just adding that bird in there right now. I have to be very careful with this bird. If it just is a little bit off, if the shape is off a bit, people might not know exactly what's wrong with it, but it could look very odd. So I do this very slowly and carefully. All right, there it is, pretty much laid in. I could add some more details, but I stepped back from this, and you know what? I just didn't like it. Just didn't look right. I thought, well, maybe if I add a few more birds over here, that'll change the whole look of that thing. But you know what? If something doesn't look right, adding something else is very seldom the solution. So out it goes. And it's quite an easy job to paint over something like this. I'm never afraid of painting something out that I've put in there. So I stood back, I looked for quite a while at this, and I thought, I still want some life back in there with some birds. But I'll just try these very small birds in the very far distance. So that's what I'm doing here. Putting in a few birds in flight way back there. And you know what? I think that worked pretty good. Just a simple little touch here and there with some accents, some pure white there on the wings. And I think that will finish this painting. I hope you'll visit my website, Bansemer.com, where you can see this and so many other paintings on my website that are available. Please like, subscribe, and all that, and leave a comment, and I'll try and answer any of your questions. Thanks for watching.